do a short video here on what's called myofascial unwinding, which is a movement education that can help people release all kinds of holding patterns in the nervous system and through the body, through the muscles and the connective tissue, which we call fascia. Fascia is a tissue that surrounds the whole body and surrounds every part of the body. So every part of the body is wrapped in this connective tissue, which is called fascia, down to each cell. So fascia, if you took away all the other tissues of the body, you'd have an exact replica of the body, but everything would be in hollow tubes and sacs. Everything would be there. It's the most holistic system of the body, fascia. The beautiful thing about fascia is it connects everything, at the same time it gives everything form and separates everything. It's also very fluid, so when fascia is healthy, it's very fluid and flexible and elastic. When we're in a holding pattern or tension, fascia tightens and we feel contraction, we feel tight and we lose movement, yeah? The other thing about fascia is that fascia is very sensory. So fascia is like a second nervous system, yeah? It holds more proprioceptive nerves than any other system or tissue in the body. Proprioception is how we sense ourselves in space, how parts of our body relate to each other as we move, as we sit. So it gives us a sense of who we are through the body, proprioceptive. It also holds what we call interoceptors, which is a type of nerve receptor that tells us when we're hungry, when we're cold, when we're hot, when we're emotional, yeah? The interoceptor that live in the fascial system surround all the organs of the body and penetrate all the organs of the body, as well as what's called the superficial fascia, which is right under the skin, which is a very thick layer of fascia that holds our adipose tissue or our fat tissue. Now, I'm going to teach myofascial unwinding, yeah? And myofascial unwinding is a form of movement education that, like cats, when a cat stretches after a rest, it stretches through its sensory system, yeah? It doesn't think I'm going to do this stretch and that stretch. It stretches in a natural way and just releases its body of the holding that entered into the body through lack of motion. And human beings have exactly the same capacity. In fact, when we wake up from a sleep or from a rest, we just naturally find a stretch. That's an unwinding or a release of holding that happens naturally. So it can be taught as a way of keeping the fascia healthy. Now, pain in the body. Many people, more people suffer from body pain than any other disease on the planet. Chronic pain is a major disease on this planet. More people lose work, more people go to hospital than any other reason because they have chronic pain in their low back, in their necks, in their knees, headaches, all over through the body. Now, myofascial unwinding is a way of releasing the chronic holding and thus releasing the pain. Yeah, because another nerve receptor that lives within the fascia are called nociceptors, which are pain receptors. So when the fascia is particularly tight, what happens is that the compression of the tension goes and tightens up on those nociceptors and we register it as pain. So this, what I'm teaching you now, this myofascial unwinding, is something that you can do for 10 minutes a day, maybe 15. You can do it twice a day in the morning. You can do it if you feel particularly tired in the afternoon for a couple of minutes, and you can do it in the evening, and it'll change your whole body and release chronic pain. It's easy to do, and what it does is it releases the fascial system through a natural form of movement. It's a spontaneous movement that goes through the body, and it's something that you can learn to activate that spontaneous movement. So as you practice it, it feels spontaneous, but also you feel like you're doing it. So you don't even have to think about it. You just allow the movement to go through your body. If you practice it most days, it's a fascial hygiene. It's like flossing, yeah? Your gums and your teeth stay healthy. In this way, your fascial system stays healthy. Your movement capacity increases. Your sensory awareness increases, and you come out of pain. So right now, I'm going to show you how to do this myofascial unwinding. Yeah? I'll show you beginning standing up. So what you do is you get your feet around shoulders width, feet straight ahead pretty much. Bend your knees slightly, and like the man of Leonardo, you start to stretch lightly out of the hands like this. Take some breaths. Lengthen your head up out of your neck like this, and just wait. And then follow the movement like a cat. Don't think, just follow what feels good. So I'm just following my movement and allowing movement to take me and moving through the fascial system. Not thinking about where I'm going to move, but just allowing my fascia to release and stretch like soft candy, like toffee when you stretch it. And I let go and move wherever it feels easy. And like this, I'm not thinking when I'm moving. I just allow and breathe. Breathing is an important part. So you breathe into the movement. And I'm just letting go and allowing movement to happen. Now I can do it standing like this, which is a nice thing to do, standing. Sometimes your body will keep moving, and if it stops in one area, that's usually an area that you have some blockage in the fascial system and in the nervous system, and you can wait at that area, like here. I wait and breathe, and as I wait, the movement just starts to come. And remember to breathe, yeah? You can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever feels right. It's very different than doing yoga or stretches, because you're following the body's natural sensory release through movement and through light stretch. When you hit tight spots like I do now, breathe deep and allow sound, like It can be playful. You can do it with music. I often will do it with music. Soft music. You can also do it sitting, because we sit so much. It's something to practice standing. Same thing, I do an extension through my arms, through my neck, through my sit bones, my ischial bones that are into the bed sitting, and I extend, and then I just, through the extension, movement just starts. And that's autonomic movement. It's happening spontaneously. And don't get in your head whether you're thinking, oh, is it spontaneous or am I doing the movement? Who cares? And then you just follow.
and roll with it. If you have pain in, say, your lower back, and you move back, and it starts to hurt too much, then let it be smaller so that you don't hurt yourself. If you do this, on a regular basis, everything will change. The whole body will start to open and expand, and you'll find movement in areas where you didn't have movement before, and your sensory awareness, your body awareness, becomes much more acute. You can feel things that you didn't feel before. I teach this to people, clients, a lot. Again, you just follow and allow and breathe. In between, it's good to just find a position where you can just pay attention and be present to your body. Now, the third way to do it, and you can practice all three, is lying down. So I lie on my back, like this, and I do light stretch through my hands, through my feet, through my neck, and then I just follow whatever comes with it. Remember till the last sound. Yeah, don't go hard, don't push it, but sometimes it'll get quicker, sometimes it'll be slower, and sometimes you'll find you just stop and then you just wait. Wait for movement to come. If you do this, you can get release in places that you never thought you could do on your own. Very different than doing yoga or doing strong stretches, because of the autonomic and spontaneous movement that happens. Your body is self-regulating. It's healing itself, which is designed to do. If you breathe and move, sometimes it can become emotional because you'll contact emotional holding patterns. Or it cannot be emotional. When it's emotional, we call it somatic emotional release. But in this case, I can feel the sensation without feeling emotion. It's very, very powerful. And the other thing it does is it just, it's like having a really good bodywork session if you really pay attention and you really allow. And it opens you up to a space where it brings you in, it centers you and brings you in. It slows down your nervous system. It goes from a place of being more sympathetic or fight or flight into more parasympathetic rest, rehabilitate and relax. So it's a good thing to do before meditation also, very good. And then from there you can sit silently with much more space inside and much more peace inside, which I feel now as I sit. Okay, namaste.